Hi, and welcome to Grape, the show with no budget. With me today is Mr. Brad Burrows, author of the Zurvivalist Guide Book. So, Brad, tell me about how you wrote this book.
Well, the first step to writing any type of survivalist guide, whether it be against the undead or the natural elements here on Earth, is to first get that experience that's necessary to lay the groundwork. You know, the real in-the-trenches type stuff. You need to get out there. You need to see what works, what doesn't work. You can, of course, do that through research, but I found that first-hand experience was what really worked out for me the best.
So I hear that you did extensive research firsthand in the southern Guatemalan coasts. Tell me a little bit about your experience.
Well, I was down there actually for Z-Day when the undead decided to rise up against humanity and feast upon the flesh of the living. And it was hard times down there, hard times. You know, a lot of good people died. A lot of people just couldn't hack it. I mean, even some of the survivors are worse off than the dead. I mean, it's really harsh. But I was down there. I was down there actually doing some research for a construction company I work for. And when that happened, I was stuck there. There was no transport out, and there was the UN blockade around the whole coastal region. And so I was more or less survive or die. And I'm a survivor. I made sure that I got out of there alive. And I hope this book will help somebody else in that same situation.
A survivor you are. I hear you had to actually eat your supervisor's brains to survive just to hide in as being a zombie to escape. Now, how did you manage to do that? I don't think I could have done that.
Well, see, there's truth and lie to that. There's truth and lie to that. I didn't have to eat his brain to fit in. I could have just nibbled on his arm or something, but I wanted to go for the hard sell. I wanted those zombies to believe I was with them. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I mean, it was my supervisor or me in that situation, and my supervisor was an asshole.
I see. So, you were there actually to construct a mental health facility, but they were the patients were being stored in a building next door, and they were one of the first to actually catch the outbreak. How did you handle not only dealing with zombies, but mentally challenged zombies with their freakishly hard strength?
Well, see, with dealing with any type of menace, the first thing you have to realize is they, despite all their strong points and power points and everything like that, they also have their weak points. And with any undead horde, regardless of strength or numbers, there's always the one tried and true points of fire and brain damage. You have to destroy that brain.
Right. I know if I didn't have my brain, I wouldn't function nearly as well, although I do have the side benefit of being a news reporter.
Yeah, most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't.
So,
few people realize how important the brain is.
So, news reporters, I hear, even gave you even more trouble than the zombies themselves.
Yeah, they were out there and they were trying to give me hassle about unnecessary violence. That person's not a zombie. No, look, I have proof I'm not really the undead. And just lies. Lies and lies and lies. In the end, I feel my track record stands for itself, and I don't have to defend myself to these accusations.
Yeah, when you came back to the United States, you received a pardon from President Bush, and not only that, 3 Purple Hearts, not for personal damage, but just for eating brains, because that's kind of nasty. What was it like meeting the president?
Well, you know, good GW, he's a good cat. He's a good man. Came right up, shook my hand, wasn't afraid of the fact that I still had some brain matter stuck on my shirt. Good, down-to-earth man. He appreciated what I had done. He understood where I was coming from and the dangers that were in front of me, and he was there for me. He supported me.
Good old GW. Any kind of violence, and he's right there.
Oh, you know it.
So back to the book. I hear you had a magnificent publisher for this. Zionist Publishing?
Yes. Great publishing company. I love to work with them. Mr. Goldstein was my direct contact with them. All in all, just a really good experience with them. They were really open about the whole editing process. They didn't want to cut out too much of the gore or anything like that, so it was good.
All right. When we come back from the break, Mr. Burrows is going to show us not only how to kill a zombie, but what with. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back to Grape Drink, the show with no budget. Here with me is Mr. Brad Burrows. So, Brad, what is the anatomy of your average zombie?
Well, your average zombie is more or less made up of the same components as any man. You've got the head. That's the danger point, the jaw. You want to avoid that at all costs. You got a body, arms, legs, Overall, it's a regular man. He's just no longer living.
And kind of creepy, too.
Indeed. The thing you have to understand with zombies is, unlike normal human men, or women for that matter, anywhere down here as far as hitting them, whether it be chopping, shooting, even explosions, does no damage to the zombie. As long as the brain, is still intact, the zombie is still viable and can still spread the virus through bites.
That is very creepy. Did you see any hopping zombie heads with jaws still attached?
Well, they didn't so much hop around as kind of roll around. I did see that, yes.
Deadly nonetheless. You do not want to step on one of those. It's like a landmine. So, what do you think is the best weapon for taking out a zombie?
Well, see, there's a couple of different schools of thought when it comes to weapon selection against the undead. Some people like the flash of automatic weapons like these we have on display here. See, that's a misconception. That's the normal thinking of these are humans that we're dealing with. Just spray enough lead at them, they'll go down. The chances of destroying the brain with a spray of fire from one of these automatic weapons, despite their power, is pretty minimal. I mean, you'd have to get it right on to destroy the brain, and with an automatic weapon that sprays fire, that's not going to happen. So overall, these weapons are not at all recommended. These are things that if you come across them, you just want to leave them on the wayside. They're not worth your time, and the amount of ammunition that you would require for them is a lot.
Right, because when you consider the amount of bullets you're carrying and shooting at the same time, it's not going to get you a good result. I can see that.
Exactly. Another common misconception is regarding the handgun. See, this is an all-American standby, the handgun. Everyone feels like John Wayne when they've got one of these in their hands, but against the undead, it's not so great. So you have to deal with a couple factors when dealing with the undead, and the main thing is what's commonly referred to as Z-shock. Basically, you're staring down something that's undead, it's coming right at you, and you don't want to have to worry about your hands jittering while you're trying to get a headshot. With a handgun, you have to be at a closer range than with, say, like a rifle, like an M16 variety. Mm-hmm. Or not an M16, but a M1A carbine. Anyway, so...
Well, what about these swords I see right here? They would seem like they'd be ideal for cutting through flesh.
You would generally think so. However, even what's the term I'm looking for? Intermediate swordsman will tell you, scoring a lethal shot with a sword, you really have to get really close, and even a trained swordsman has trouble being able to hit the head in such a way and pierce the skull as well to ensure a thorough kill of the zombie. So overall, these are good weapons for debilitating zombies, making sure, like if you're being followed, you can hack off a leg and slow them down. But overall, not a great weapon to have with you.
So we have a lot of examples of weapons that seem good and work good and tried and true on humans. But what is a good weapon for a zombie? I mean, that's the whole point of why we're here.
Well, those type of weapons you want to go with something like a M1A carbine, semi-automatic rifle, single shot. It allows you time to aim and make sure that shot is done correctly. You only need one bullet to kill a zombie. Another good tried and true method is the shotgun. If you're not too good with a firearm and you have trouble aiming, then the shotgun, overall, the best bang for your buck. You have to just get in the approximate area of a zombie, fire, and chances are that brain is going to be destroyed in the process.
Wow. And I noticed the bullets we would have to carry would be not nearly as much because they're all compacted inside of one tiny little compartment.
They are. The only drawback with the shotgun, as far as the ammunition goes, is the bulk of the shell. Shells are rather large and so take up a lot of space.
All right. Thanks for coming with us today. It's been a fantastic journey. Now, one last thing before we go. What would be a good way to disinfect a zombie bite? Because I was at the park the other day and I had to fight a zombie, unfortunately, and he bit my finger. So what would be the best way to clean that?
I hate to inform you of this, but there ain't no cure for zombies. There's no way to disinfect it. You're pretty much a dead man.
This has been Grape Drink. I'm Geoff Goodloe, and I need the police. Oh, my God.